Everyone, and welcome to the Bachata Rockstar Lightning Speed Full Set Review. So, I have got a stopwatch on my phone, and I am going to set it for a minute each time. And I'm going to do these reviews less than a minute. Each card. 130 cards. Hopefully this will be less than 2 hours. That's my goal. Alright, you guys ready? Here we go. Go. Alright, Shifting Scroll. Each turn this is in your hand, transform into a random mage spell. Pretty good. I don't think it's going to see play in your deck because random mage spells, while they're awesome, don't necessarily do enough consistency to actually help you. So, yes, it'd be really neat to put 2 of these in here. Yes, it's really neat to have a card that has 0 mana cost. And yeah, it might help you a lot. But guess what? All the Shifter Xeris-like cards don't see play, and the reason is because they're inconsistent. And this will also not see play because of that. Boom! Next card. Wax Elemental, 1 mana, 0/2, Taunt Divine Shield Elemental. So, even though this card on its surface seems pretty bad, if you can buff it somehow, it's actually pretty good. It's a 1 mana elemental. It might see play, it might get fit into an elemental deck, but the fact that it can't attack really, really sucks. And so, yes, it's only 1 mana, but it's an entirely defensive card unless you somehow buff it. The problem is, though, it's not like it's an egg where you can give it additional buffs and then that will turn into something else. So, I don't really like it. Moving on. Kobold Librarian, 1 mana, 2/1, draw a card, deal 2 damage to hero. This card is excellent. It's a 10 out of 10. I've already rated it. You know why. It's a hero power with a body on it. It's great for Zoo. It's great for every single deck. Every single Warlock deck will play it. Fantastic card. I love it. Gravel Snout Knight, 1 mana, 2/3, battle cry, summon a random 1-cost minion for your opponent. So it's like a Hungry Dragon style card, but it's a 1 mana card. It's actually not that bad, because it's really rare to have a 1-drop that actually has 3 attack, and so in all likelihood, this will trade in. However, giving your opponent free tempo, not so good. So, I don't think this will see play. It might be an okay arena card, but a 2/3 stat line is for a 2-drop, and you are playing this on turn 1, which is great, but I don't know. They keep trying to remake Zombie Chow, and this is just not going to see it. I'd much rather play Mistress of Mixers than this card. Feral Gibberer, 1 mana, 1/1. After this minion attacks a hero, add a copy of it to your hand. So, I've since determined that the copies that you get to your hand are just more 1/1 Feral Gibberers. They don't keep the buffs, they don't keep hand buffs, nothing like that. So, this card is poop. Alright, moving on. Dirt Mole, 1 mana, 1/3 Beast. Surprisingly good card. Like, that is a really strong stat line. It's a beast, or Dire Mole, excuse me. It's a beast. It could see play in Hunter decks. It could see play in Druid decks. I don't know. I don't know if it's better than a lot of the other 1-drops, but it's a pretty darn good, like, little card. Marka Yashiraj is still a thing, so 1 mana, 1/3 becomes a 2 mana, 3/5 that draws you a card. Wow. So this might actually replace Fire Elemental in, the whatever. Firefly in Aggro Druid. Arcane Artificer, 1 mana, 1/2 mage minion. Whenever you cast a spell, gain armor equal to its cost. Fantastic card. Will fit really, really well in the big spell mage archetype that they're trying to make. And to be honest with you, it's an elemental. It's a cheap thing to play. And it's really great because on turn 7, instead of just playing Flame Strike, you can play Arcane Artificer and Blizzard, and whoop, you accomplish the same thing. You get your board clear and or board freeze, but then you also get 6 armor, and that's fantastic. And then, you know, you have 2 of these on board, and you Flame Strike, and holy shit, you've cleared their board and gained 14 armor. What a swing, what a tempo swing. Fantastic card. I love it. Really good card. Unstable Evolution, 1 mana, Shaman spell, transform a minion into one that costs 1 more, repeatable this turn. Really good card in Evolution Shaman. What's nice is you can just keep using up, like if you have just spare mana, you're like, well, fuck, it's turn 7 and I was only going to play a 3-drop anyway. You can be like, well, pop, 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 build my thing up, you know? It's only 1 mana, so you can use it as many times or as little times as you want. If you only want to use it once, cool. If you want to use it a bunch of times, that's fine too. So it scales really well into the late game, which makes it a very good card for Evolution Shaman. Psionic Probe, 1 mana pre-spell, copy a spell in your opponent's deck and add it to your hand. So, this is better than, not Mind Blast, whatever, the 1 mana pre-spell that steals a card from your opponent's hand. The reason that card is bad is because you're often getting cards that are like cheap, because your opponent keeps cheap cards. So you're paying 1 mana to get a 2 mana card, or 1 mana to get a 3 mana card. Who gives a fuck about that? This is going to allow you to draw something from their deck. They very often mulligan their big shit, so you're much more likely to hit something big with Psionic Probe, and hit something good with Psionic Probe. And then if you're deck tracking, and this goes into the late game, you can be like, okay, he's played all these cards, I know he's got only these 4 cards. You can give yourself a really high chance to get a really good card. Psionic Probe, good card. Now, is it strong enough to actually see play? I don't know. It's just a flip card, right? It's a card that you play to get another card, to replace it with another card. So, who knows? Steal Your Stuff Priest, is it going to be good enough? Well, they got a lot of tools. We'll find out. Moving on, Lesser Jasper Stone, 1 mana Druid spell, deal 2 damage and gain 3 armor to upgrade. So, it turns out that even if you gain armor incrementally, i.e. using your hero power, this will tick down slowly until it gets upgraded. That is fantastic. I thought that you had to gain 3 armor at once, otherwise it didn't trigger. So because that does that, this is actually a really good card. You can use it in the early game to take out a minion and just use it like living roots. You can wait until the late game until it becomes a 1 mana fireball. It's really good. Granted, it only does damage to minions, which does suck. But maybe this would have been a lot more expensive if that was the case. But it's not like Druid needs any more direct damage. So I think it's a really good card. I think it will slot in to a lot of different Druid decks. Dark Pact. 1 mana Warlock spell. Destroy a friendly minion. Restore 8 health to your hero. Love this card. Destroy your stuff. Warlock is going to be a thing. Carnivorous Cube. Bunch of death rattles. Bunch of eggs. That's going to be one of the first decks I try. I love it. It's already working in Paladin. I definitely think it'll work in Warlock too. And this is going to be a great card for that. Barkskin. 1 mana Druid spell. Give a minion +3 health and gain 3 armor. Neat. Nice card. Easy to slot in. Gives you the armor gain that you need. Affects the other spellstone. Affects the cards that require you to have armor in order to attack. I don't know. Is this strong enough to see play? I mean, it might. Giving a minion health is not terrible in Druid, but I don't know if it's that good. It's not Priest. Can't hit it yourself, so I'm iffy on this card. I think it will see a little bit of play, but I think it will eventually get replaced. Kingsbane. The Rogue Weapon. Legendary weapon. 1 mana, 1/3, Death Rattle. Shuffle this into your deck. It keeps any enchantments. Fantastic. A fantastic card. The reason is because there are so many, like, draw your stuff weapon cards now. You'll see it later on in the set. Rogue got a double card that will allow you to draw a weapon from your deck. So if this is the only weapon in your deck, automatically draw a Kingsbane, automatically buff that shit. You want to get Kingsbane as early as possible, and there are cards in this set that allow you to get Kingsbane very early, that allow you to get multiple copies of Kingsbane. Fucking great. Is Weapon Rogue going to be good? I don't know. But they've got the tools. Nobody can say they ain't got the tools. Candle Shot, 1 mana, 1/3. I believe it's a hunter card. Immune while attacking. Neat. Good. You know what? The no spell hunter archetype needs something in the early game to control the board. Hey, guess what? There you go. Candle Shot will do that for you. You combine this with, I forget the card, but it deals 1 damage and summons a 1/1 beast. That spell, you combine this with Flank Strike and all the other cool spells that they got. I'm not saying it's going to be tier 1, but guess what? It's going to be tier 1 and fun. Vulgar Homunculus, 2 mana, 2/4, taunt, battlecry, deals damage to your hero. I've already said I think this card is fantastic. 10 out of 10. Great in Zoo, great in Control. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Moving on. Scorp-O-Matic, 2 mana, 1/2, battlecry, destroy a minion with 1 or less attack. Neat. This is the mini Kodo, the mini Stampeding Kodo. I really like this card. You know what? You might actually see Stampeding Kodo get replaced with this card, because one, you can just play it on turn 1 and kill their Northshire Cleric, or 2, you can use fucking Aldor Peacekeeper or Humility, set their attack to 1, and then just boop, Scorpomatic, they're dead. And it's 2 mana, so it's really easy to slot in. You can go Humility for 1 mana, Scorpomatic for 2 mana, and kill something for 3 mana instead of 6 mana. So much better for removal. I think the card is surprisingly good, despite it what seems to be not that good of text. Raven Familiar, 2 mana, 2/2 mage spell. Battlecry, reveal a spell in each deck. If yours costs more, draw it. So, big mage. This goes in big mage, draws cards, puts a 2/2 early on the board, gets you that Flame Strike, gets you that Firelands Portal, gets you that Pyroblast, whatever you need. This is going to get you that card and it's going to put it in your hand. Now, guess what? Because the spells are big, you're not going to be able to cast them until turn 5, turn 6, turn 7. So this will be good in that deck, but that deck needs to have the early game in order to compete with the other faster, more tempo-oriented decks. If they get it, this card will be very good and this card will be a part of it. If they don't, this card will suck because that deck will suck. Plated Beetle, 2 mana, 2/3, Death Rattle, gain 3 armor. Neat. Nice card. It's a common card. Everybody's going to get it. It's really good for a budget deck. Gaining 3 armor is significant. That's worthwhile. It's a Death Rattle, so you can bring it back from N'Zoth. It's a really good early tempo play. The Rogue Spellstone requires you to play Death Rattle minions. This is a nice one to just slot in. And guess what? It's healing for Rogue. So I think it actually will have some applications in classes that have trouble healing. And it's armor, so you're always going to get it. Murmuring Elemental. No. Battlecry, your next Battlecry triggers this turn. Stop murmuring! Just talk normal! Fuck, stupid Elemental. It's actually a really good card, though. Being able to trigger Battlecries twice is fantastic, especially in Shaman, because they have so many good Battlecries. Elemental Shaman isn't going to be a thing now. It was not that far off in the last expansion, so maybe? I don't know if this is the card that pushes them over the top, but I do think that they're getting even more tools. There's a lot of elementals now that can help out. I think it's worthwhile. I think it will see play. I'm not saying Elemental Shaman will be tier 1, but I am saying that it should see its time in the sun. Kobold Hermit, Battlecry, choose a basic totem, and summon it. Awesome. Awesome. Really good card. Being able to choose your totem is fantastic, right? Because you could choose a 1/1 and a 1/1. All right, you get an Alley Cat. You can choose a 1/1 and an 0/2 with Taunt. Good. That protects you whenever you need it. You get the spell damage when you need it. You get the healing when you need it, right? Like the ability to choose, as Druid has proved, is really, really good. It's fantastic. And so this is a great card. Dry Whisker Armor, 2 mana, 2/2, Battlecry, for each enemy minion gain 2 armor. So obviously they have no minions. This sucks. So it sucks against a control deck. It's good against an aggro deck. Plain and simple. So it's really meta dependent. If you have a nice heavy control warrior and you're playing against a nice heavy control priest, this card sucks. If you're playing against a tempo or an aggro deck, this card's really good. Dragulch Jailer, 2 mana, 1/1, Death Rattle, add 3 Silverhand Recruits to your hand. God damn it, the Silverhand Recruits cost 1 mana. So this card is garbage. Yes, there's a ton of Silverhand Recruit synergies out there, but would you even play this in that deck? Probably not. Yeah, it's great on turn 8 to go 1, 1, 1, and then level up and have 3 3/3s with Taunt. But is that worth 8 mana? No way. I'd rather play Tyrion. Cavern Shiny Finder, 2 mana, 3/1, Battlecry, draw a weapon for your deck. This is the card I was talking about that lets you draw Kingsbane because it's a freaking rogue card. This card is ridiculous in Weapon Rogue. This card will make Weapon Rogue a thing. Is Weapon Rogue good, though? Needs to be seen, right? You have to build the deck. But I think this card will allow it to be good. Because you either just draw your Kingsbane normally, or you draw this card. Either one. So unless you bottom deck all 3 of them, you're going to get Kingsbane pretty early, and you're going to be able to buff it and keep bringing it back. The question is, do you have enough Taunt? Do you have enough healing? Do you have enough enchantments to make Kingsbane worth it? Hard to say. We'll find out. Watering Monster, 2 mana Hunter Secret. When an enemy attacks your hero, summon a 3-cost minion as the new target. Neat. Good card. We saw that there's a lot more 3-cost minions that are now 4/4s. So this card can actually high roll pretty hard. And so you play this on 2, your opponent attacks in with their 2/3, and then you summon a 4/4 and you kill it and you get a free 4/2. That's pretty darn good. But even if you only get like a 3/3 or a 3/4, a lot of times it trades straight up with their board, and then that gives you initiative, right? Because instead of them attacking face and continuing to attack, you kill their minion and you keep going. Now, in the late game, it's still pretty good, because then if they swing in with their 8/8, you're blocking it with a creature and you're not taking face damage. So it's effectively healing in that sense too. So in the early game, it trades really well and or protects your face. In the late game, it ends up healing you for a certain amount. They either trade in a small minion and you kill it and it lives, or they trade in a big minion and then you just blocked 5 or 6 damage. So good card. I actually think it's pretty good and it's pretty strong, and we'll definitely see play in the no minions hunter. Son of Betrayal, 2 mana Rogue Secret. When a minion attacks your hero, instead it attacks one of its neighbors. I've already talked about how much I like this card in conjunction with the other secrets. Now, it's very hard to play around each one because the way you play around them are different. If you want... right, so your opponent has to attack face in order for this to go off, but if he attacks face with a small minion, that minion trades in and dies. If they attack with a big minion, you effectively healed yourself for the big minion's attack. And who knows, maybe they'll swing in and their 8/8 will kill their other 8/8. You know, yeah, you can play around it by playing a small minion in between them, which helps with their positioning and stuff. But even still, like, you're still preventing an attack. So either way, this card is going to get value almost no matter what, but especially in conjunction with the other secrets. So I do like it. Potion of Heroism. Give a minion Divine Shield and draw a card. Fantastic. There's already a spell for 1 mana called Hand of Protection, which gives a minion Divine Shield, so we can reasonably cost Divine Shield at 1 mana, and then you get to draw a card for only 1 mana more, and that's combined into 1 card? That's awesome. That's awesome, right? I mean, Power Word Shield gets played all the time. This is probably better than Power Word Shield if you think about it, because you can play it on a minion that already is charged, trade them in, and make a good trade. You know? Seal of Champions saw a ton of play back in its heyday, and that was a 3 mana that gave Divine Shield and +3 attack. The card was fantastic, so 1 less mana, minus the attack, but get a card draw? That's great. This card will see a lot of play. Lesser Ruby Spellstone, 2 mana mage spell, add 1 random mage spell to your hand and play 2 elementals to upgrade. I've already said this, I think this card is busted. OP busted. You're going to see 2 of them in every deck. 2 Cabalist Spellstones, 2 Cabalist Tomes. That's all you need for all the random spells to be put in your deck. And guess what? You play this with Leyline Manipulator, and you buff this thing up, and you play Elemental frickin' Quest. Elemental Quest Mage is going to be ridiculous. Off the hook. Off the hook. Lesser Pearl Spellstone, 2 mana, summon a 2/2 Spirit with Taunt, restore 3 health to upgrade. So, I had originally thought you had to restore 3 health to your hero. But I read this again, and it just says restore 3 health. So, you don't actually have to play like the Jin thing that heals your face, even though you may not have enough face damage. You can just play things that heal other minions. Right? Play this, or have this in your hand, and play an Earthring Farseer. Boom. You're upgraded. Right? Swing twice with your True Silver Champion, and this upgrades. Because it also just ticks off each one. So you don't have to do it all at once. Like, that's actually really good. And then you just get a 2 mana 6/6. Fuck yeah, I would do that. So yeah, I think this card is going to turn out to be really good. Evasion. 2 mana secret. After your hero takes damage, become immune this turn. So this is another one of those cards I was talking about with the Rogue Secrets that works in conjunction with the other one. Because now your opponent has to decide, do I play around Evasion, or do I play around Cheat Death, or do I play around Sudden Betrayal? Right? Because if you swing into the hero with a big minion, you know, they're going to swing in with a big minion against Evasion, but they're going to swing in with a small minion against Sudden Betrayal. So how do you play around them? Which one is it? which one do you do? So either way, they're fucked, right? You know, in all likelihood, they're going to swing in with a small minion and just kind of hope it's not evasion. And then if it is, fuck, they'll just trade. But then if they trade, your cheat death triggers and you get your fucking awesome stuff back. So there's a lot of layers that they have to play around. And that's why I think this card is actually pretty good. Crushing Hand, 2 mana, deal 8 damage to a minion, overload 3. Wow, that's a lot of overload. But if you need to kill something, this'll do it. Did Shaman need an Assassinate? Well, they got one. I don't know if it's any good or not, but I like the artwork. Cheat Death. There's the spell I was talking about. Rogue Secret. When a friendly minion dies, return it to your hand. It costs 2 less. So basically, you cast Shadow Step on a minion right before it dies. I love this card. I think it's fantastic. Put it in your Death Rattle decks. And then guess what? It dies first, then you return it to your hand. So the Death Rattle is going to trigger, and then you bring it back to your hand. So, really cool card. Really neat. Bladed Gauntlet, 2 mana 0/2 warrior card, has attack equal to your armor and can't attack heroes. Meh, lame. It's going to be really hard to get enough armor to make this card effective. And then when you swing in, you lose that armor, so it's a 0/2. It's not the Fire War Axe replacement we were hoping for. Zola the Gorgon, 3 mana 2/2. Battlecry, choose a friendly minion, add a golden copy of it to your hand. I've talked about this card at length in my previous reviews. I think it's fantastic. Just getting a copy of a minion in your hand, fuck yeah. For 3 mana, easy. Good, I'll take it. I would love more Tyrians. I would love more Ysseras and Ragnaroses and all this other shit. Like, you can't leave anything out anymore, because then you can just Zola the Gorgon and get it right back. Like, there's too many things where it's just like, if I don't kill this minion now, they're going to do something to it. And this is one of those cards that does it and really puts a lot of pressure on your opponent to always have the answers. And most of the time, they're not going to have the answers every time. So, really good card. Really good card. Punishes leaving anything up. Void Ripper. Excuse him. Wow. Void Ripper. 3 mana 3/3 demon, neutral demon, Battlecry, swap the attack and health for all other minions. So did you need Confuse on a body? Well, you got it. Confuse Priest, OTK Priest. Here you go. Have some more Confuses, because why not? So everybody has access to Confuse now. I don't know if anybody besides Priest would use this, but who knows? Maybe there's applications there. I think just the effect is so weird that I don't know if anybody's going to try it outside of Priest and actually make something viable. But, cool card for Priest. Twilight Acolyte, 3 mana 2/4. If you're holding a dragon, swap this minion's attack with another minion's. So, it's not attack and health, it's just attack. So this thing is always going to be a something 4 health minion. But if you're swapping health with the only minion on the board, or attack with the only minion on the board, now you become an 8/4, 7/4, 6/4, 5/4, 3/4, whatever. And now the opponent only has 2 attacks. They can't kill this thing. So you're in all likelihood going to value trade, because most things have even stats or higher attack. It's rare, not rare, but it's less likely to find something with low attack, high health. And so this is going to allow you to make really, really good trades. And it's just going to super help dragon decks. And all you need to do is have a dragon, like, there you go, done. Dragon Priest, going to be tier 1 again. Alright guys, zooming down to the bottom, here we go. We got the Toothy Chest, 3 mana 0/4. At the start of your turn, set this minion's attack to 4. Neat. So it's like the Validated Doomsayer, and it becomes a 4/4. Well, guess what? This is much better than Validated Doomsayer. The reason why is because it's actually kind of hard to get something with 4 attack on turn 3 or turn 2, which is when you're going to want to play this card. So, yeah, if you can get in the early game, this card is really good. It has 0 attack, so guess what? You can also bring it out with Meat Wagon, or with cards that recruit something with 1 attack or less. Yeah, so I think this card is surprisingly good, but I just don't know if it's gonna make the cut. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be in the top 30 of cards that you're gonna put in your deck. That's my only concern. It's just its power level isn't strong enough. But neat card, well designed. I like it. I'm not gonna fucking throw it away. Stone Skin Basilisk, 3 mana, 1/1, Divine Shield, and Poisonous. I mean, that's a neat combo of cards. Allows you to get 2 kills, potentially. But it's still a 1 mana, 1/1, and can still be pinged off. But the Divine Shield is hard because you can't double ping it without it getting at least 1 swing. So, against classes that have pings, this kills their smallest minion, or requires them to ping and do something. So I feel like this is one of those cards that's just kind of a mana waster for your opponent. Like you play it for 3 and they spend 5 mana trying to get rid of it. Something like that. I don't know. I still don't think it's strong enough to see actual constructed play, but neat card. Cool card, well designed. Sonya Shadow Dancer, 3 mana, 2/2. After a friendly minion dies, add a 1/1 copy of it to your hand. It costs 1. The more I've thought about this card, the more and more I've been soured upon it. Because I'm just like, how often do you have a board as Rogue that you're going to want to trade in to have things die to where you can get the power of these 1/1s? Pretty rare. Cult Master doesn't see play. This probably won't see play either. Shrieking Shroom, 3 mana, 1/2. At the end of your turn, summon a random 1-cost minion. Neat! Neat! I like this card. I like this a lot. It's a generator. It's a dude generator. If you don't kill it, it's just going to keep spawning 1-cost minions. Fucking A. Yeah, it's a 1/2, so it dies pretty easily. You get a few buffs on this card, and just like, thumbs up, man. You're going to get 1/1s all day. Now, obviously, 1/1s aren't that good, but I don't know. I like the card, but again, it's one of those things where, like, is this going to make the top 30? You're going to have to build your deck around it. But I can see it having a lot of synergy in a lot of different decks. Sewer Crawler, 3 mana, 1/1, Battle Cry, summon a 2/3 giant rat. This is the same thing as the fucking Razor Hunter, just in the opposite direction, where it's a 2/3 that summons a 1/1. I think they're just trying to make Evolution bad. Make the 3-drop Evolution bad for some reason. Because who the fuck is going to play this? I mean, maybe I play this with something that lets my Battle Cries trigger twice, but am I really going to waste my Murmuring Elemental on this fucking thing? No way. The rats are probably beasts, so I guess that's good, but like, still, I wouldn't play this. Rummaging Kobold, 3 mana, 1/3, Battle Cry, return one of your destroyed weapons to your hand. So guess what? Your Kingsbane dies, you put it back in your hand, you get another Kingsbane that you can also buff. And if it keeps the enchantments, that's even better. I don't know if that interaction works or not, but that's pretty good. There's a lot of legendary weapons out there, and I assume there's going to be a lot of weapon destruction, and so a card like this is going to be really good to get those legendary weapons back. Lone Champion, 3 mana, 2/4. If you control another minions, gain Taunt and Divine Shield. Cool card, strong effect. Having no other minions on the board is really difficult to have, even if you're a control deck. I don't think this card will see play. Kobold Barbarian, 3 mana, 4/4. At the start of your turn, attack a random enemy. So, unfortunately, I have verified that this does not get an additional attack. It just attacks a random enemy. There's already Ogre Brute. Why would I play this over Ogre Brute if I wanted a 3 mana 4/4? I mean, that's only a 50-50 downside. This is always a downside. Like, that's terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. Kobold Apprentice, 3 mana, 2/1, Battle Cry, deal 3 damage randomly split among all enemies. It's a cool effect. I mean, kobolds aren't a class, so there's no, like, tribal synergy with this card. If you really just need to send a bunch of random pings. I mean, 3 damage split among random enemies, what is that? It's Arcane Missiles. So you're paying 1 mana for Arcane Missiles, and you're also getting a 2 mana 2/1? That's really understated. That's really undervalued. I honestly don't think it's good enough. This is a 2 mana card, and it was a 1/1. 2 mana 1/1, deal 3 damage, split amongst random enemies. I might play that card, but I'm not playing this. Greedy Sprite, 3 mana 3/1, Death Rattle, gain an empty mana crystal. Well, it's ramp for Druid when Jade Blossom rotates out of the set and Mire Keeper rotates out of the set. It's a Death Rattle, so there's a bunch of neat Death Rattle synergies that you might want. Maybe there's a Death Rattle Druid, a ramp Death Rattle Druid, that would want this card and bring it back with N'Zoth or something like that. Who knows? But, like I said, once those 2 cards get rotated out, Druid is going to need ramp again, and this card right here is going to provide said ramp. Gilded Gargoyle, 3 mana, 2/2, Death Rattle, add a coin to your hand. So it's a Death Rattle minion, you can play it on 3, you get a card, and that's a spell, and there's a lot of fucking priest things that want you to cast a bunch of spells in a turn, and getting a free coin is a great way to do that. Gilded Gargoyle will be surprisingly good in priest, and surprisingly strong, and we'll actually see quite a bit of play. Fungal Enchanter, 3 mana, 3/3, Battlecry, restore 2 health to all friendly characters. Ah, very neat in a tempo deck. Gives your face a little bit of healing, but more importantly, you can make a bunch of trades and then slap this bad boy down and heal your whole board. Surprisingly good, will surprisingly see a lot of play, and going to be an amazing arena card. Dragon Slayer, 4 mana, 3/3, Battlecry, deals 6 damage to a dragon. So, a little bit too niche, I think, of a card. But if dragons are a problem, maybe you tech this in. Blizzard likes to do that, is where they'll build a set and they'll say, okay, we need tech cards to beat those just in case these things are too crazy. And so while this will probably not see play in a dragon heavy meta, it might. Cave Hydra, 3 mana, 2/4, also damages the minion next to whomever this attacks. So this is the Foe Reaper 3000, 3000, 4000, 7000, whatever effect, which is really good. Now, what happens on turn 4 after this card is Houndmaster. Boom. Now you get a 4/6 that deals 4 damage to 3 minions that are next to each other. Very cool. I like it. Pretty darn good card, but goddamn it, the 3 mana cost slot in Hunter is so tight right now. I just don't know if you have room for this particular card. Boisterous Bard, 3 mana, 3/2, Battlecry, give your other minions +1 health. All your minions. So you're losing 1 health on this card to give 1 health to all your other minions. I think that's actually really good and really strong for making boards stay alive and giving you that 1 extra health to make those trades. And combined with the card we just saw, the Fungal Enchanter, you can play this, give health, trade everybody in, Fungal Enchanter, boom, heal them all up again, and now you heal them with health. This is a really surprisingly good card. I think it will actually see quite a bit of play. If nothing else, very good arena card. Benevolent Djinn, 3 mana, 2/4, at the end of your turn, restore 3 health to your hero. So this is a Pearl Spellstone activator, which is great. It's an anti-aggro card. It's got a nice strong stat line to affect aggro, and also heals your face. Pretty darn good card. Is it powerful enough to see play? I don't know. It really depends on the deck, and if you make some sort of Healy Spellstoney control deck, this will be good in it. But Paladin may not have room for it. Unidentified Elixir, 3 mana, give a minion +2/+2, gain a bonus effect in your hand. It's a pre-spell, and I like the fact that you're getting attack, which has always been lacking in Priest, so I think this card is pretty darn good, just in and of itself, its merits. And then whatever bonus effect you get, okay, cool. Like, I'll take that too. So I think it actually will see a lot of play, and a tempo-style Priest will actually use this quite a bit. This is not as good as Velen's Chosen, but it's pretty close. Twilight's Call, 3 mana, summon a 1/1 copies of 2 friendly Death Row remains that died this game. So, you know, you play your Loot Hoarder, you play your Crystalline Oracle, they both die, you play this, you get 2 more 1/1s back, and you're on tick 4 for your quest, and hopefully you complete your quest soon. But Quest Priest sucks, and I think it will always be kind of bad, so I don't think this card is very good. But maybe it's just more of a value play in some sort of like deck that has like heavy death rattles. But if that's the case, this card will be like a dead card for a long time too. It's really hard to get this card to go off on 3, so it's not a tempo play. It's definitely a value play for later on. And I don't know if it's going to be strong enough to actually fit into the value-oriented priests. Reckless Flurry. Spend all your mana, deal that much damage to all minions. While I think this is a really good card, I think losing all your armor, especially when you have like 7, 8, 9, 10 armor, might not be worth it to just wipe everybody's board. And while that's great, and that probably would save you more than the armor that you lost, you're still giving up a lot of armor. And this might actually put you back into burn range. So it's a very skill-intensive card. And usually when a card is like really skill-intensive, like I believe this one is, It doesn't see that much play, only in fringe decks, because those decks are a little too hard to maneuver. And I think this card will just get cut for better removal. Primal Talismans. 3-mana Shaman card. Give your minions Death Rattle, summon a random basic totem. Alright, so that deck where you try to get Alakir the Windlord, maybe it's a thing. Maybe you play this and you play Spirit Echoes, and then you have things that go back into your hand that also summon totems. That's pretty good. Have Bloodlust on it, that's pretty good, but I still think this card is not that good just because it's really hard to have a board big enough to make this card worth it. Healing Rain, 3 mana, restore 12 health divided randomly among all friendly characters. So if you don't have any minions, you get to heal yourself for 12. If you have minions out there, you get to heal them potentially to full health and then just heal yourself. So that's really good. I think this card is actually quite good, because if you only have 3 or 4 damage on your minions, then all the rest of it is just going to go to your face. So it's not wasteful at all. So really good card. Really good card. Explosive Runes, 3 mana Secret for Mage. After your opponent plays a minion, deal 6 damage to it and any access to the hero. Gee, did Mage need more burn? Ugh, Lord. So it also turns out that if you have like a 1/1 Divine Shield, this will kill the Divine Shield and then still deal 5 damage to the opponent, which is ridiculous. So I think this spell is actually really good. I think it'll slot right into Secret Mage, no problem. Thumbs up all around. Unidentified Maul, 3 mana 2/2, gain a bonus effect in your hand. Most of these bonus effects reward being very aggressive and avoid being on board really hard. And so then, do I really want a 2/2 weapon on 3 for that, even though I can give all my minions Divine Shield or give them all Taunt or something like that? I don't know. I don't know if that's worth it. I think I would rather just continue to tempo out with this card. And so therein sort of lies this card's problem, and I think that's this card's downfall. Dragon Soul, 3 mana 0/3, Priest Weapon. After you cast 3 spells in a turn, summon a 5/5 dragon. It's surprisingly hard to cast that many spells in a turn, unless you have Lyra, and so it's going to be really hard to get out enough 5/5 dragons to make this card worth it, but it's only 3 mana, but do you really want to pass up your turn 3 to play this card? Probably not. I think you're going to want to play this card and then play it in conjunction with the spells to make sure you get a 5/5, and then you're playing this and 3 spells to get a 5/5. Not worth it. The Darkness. I believe in a thing called love. Go down with a heart. I believe in a thing called love. 4 mana 20/20 starts dormant. Battle Cry. Shuffle 3 candles into the enemy deck. When drawn, this awakens. So guess what? Shadow or Death is still a thing. Shadow Ripper Edwin is still a thing. Your opponent doesn't have to draw cards very fast if they don't want to. By the time this thing gets off, I think your opponent will be ready to deal with it. So the only way this is good is your opponent doesn't deal with it. So you'd have to play other threats that would require him to use the cards that would deal with this card, and they probably won't do that. So I think this card as a deterrent to using removal is going to be really good, because then if they're holding on to the removal to remove this, they're not using that on your Tyrion, and then your Tyrion beats the shit out of them. So that's where I think the power of this card actually lies, is in them holding on to the removal and then not using it on things that would just kill them anyway. So, yeah. Sneaky Devil. What a sneaky devil. 4 mana 2/2 stealth. Your minions have +1 attack. So it's a raid leader with stealth. That's not bad, and it's a demon. I would probably play that. 4 mana is a lot, though. But it's really good if you already have a board. So I'm seeing this played in some sort of Zoolock, Tempo Rogue, Tempo something, just to sort of get a board out there. Play this, give everything +1 attack, go nuts. This would also be good in egg decks, because then giving those +1 attack allows them to attack and get popped. Shroomber, 4 mana 4/4, Battle Cry, restore 4 health. Well, if you wanted to activate your Pearl Spellstone, now you can, because Shroomber has gotcha. So, what is this? This is Earthling Farseer for 1 more mana with 1 more health restoration and 1 +1/+1 on all the stats. Earthling Farseer sees play, Shroomber will see play. Shimmering Courser, 4 mana, 3/3. Only you can target this with spells and hero powers, and only you can prevent forest fires. So, pros of this card, great. You can buff the shit out of it, and your opponent must trade in minions to kill it. Negatives of this card does not stop battle cries of minions. So, Vile Spine Slayer still kills this. Silence still gets this. Other things that can just attack minions. I don't know. SI7 Agent still affects this card. So it's actually not as good as it seems. But the reason it'd be good is if you were able to buff it in, say, like a Paladin deck. And then play that 7 mana Paladin Legendary. That will be awesome. Leyline Manipulator, 4 mana, 4/5. Mage. Battlecry, if you're holding any cards that didn't start in your deck, reduce their cost by 2. I've already said this. This is a 10 out of 10. Quite possibly the strongest card in the set. All upside, no downside. Kobold Monk, 4 mana, 3/6. Your hero can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. Well, that's a first. So 4 mana, 3/6 is really good stats. Like, those are excellent stats. A lot of health means they got to trade into this guy and kill him before you can actually hit your opponent with spells and hero powers. So, is this good enough to see play in a constructed deck? I don't know. Maybe not. But in Arena, this card will be boss bomb. Kobold Illusionist, 4 mana, 3/3. Death Rattle. Summon a 1/1 copy of a minion from your hand. Oh, pretty good. Be cool if you got another Kobold Illusionist, because then you would just keep chaining Kobold Illusionists all day. It's pretty good with Cheat Death, right? Because then you still get the 1/1, and you can put this back in your hand. It's really cool if you can like copy the Death Rattle or set the Death Rattle off or things like that. I don't know. Is a 1/1 copy of a minion from your hand any good? I don't know. You'd have to set it up, and I think it's kind of hard to set it up. So I think ultimately this card won't see play, but I think there's shenanigans there that I'm not seeing. Ironwood Golem, 4 mana, 3/6 taunt, can only attack if you have 3 or more armor. Do I really want a 3/6 taunt to be attacking a lot? Probably not, but getting 3 armor with this dude in front of you is going to be not that hard to do. And this is going to slot into that recruit 4 or less mana deck, but I saw the deck on the stream. I didn't think it was very good, so I don't think this card is very good, and I don't think it'll see play. Horde Reaver, 4 mana, 4/4. Battlecry, if you have 15 or less health, gain +3/+3, and taunt. I love this card. Love it. Love it. It's a demon. It has the Draconid Crusher effect, where if you have 15 or less health, gain an effect. But in this case, it's a very defensive effect, which is what I like. Whereas Draconid Crusher was incredibly offensive, this card is incredibly defensive. So if you're getting jacked up, you can play this card and get a 4 mana 7/7 with taunt. That's really good. You play Jiraxis and then play this. Oh, snazap. Nice card. And even if you don't get the battle cry, it's still 4 mana 4/4, which is pretty good. Hoarding Dragon, 4 mana 5/6. Death Rattle, give your opponent 2 coins. I think giving your opponent 2 coins can be totally devastating and not worth playing a 4 mana 5/6, regardless of the fact that it is a dragon. Eldori Strider, 4 mana 4/4. Battlecry, shuffle 3 ambushes into your deck when drawn. Summon a 4/4 Spider. Fantastic card. It shuffles into your deck, so you can just draw a shitload of cards to get your 4/4s as early as possible, and also have a shitload of cards. Thumbs up. Really good card. Easy play. Good to draw. Love it. Elven Minstrel, 4 mana 3/2 combo, draw 2 minions from your deck. Well, guess what? This card works really well with the Eldori Strider, because now you're pulling minions out of your deck into your hand, which means the cards that are left over in your deck are far more likely to be ambushes, because ambushes are spells. So if you run a fairly minion-heavy, not that many spell-based deck and just keep drawing these minions, then you're going to be great. Or on the other side, you can play a deck with very few minions and then target those minions, right? If you just play Ysera, or if you just play Malagos and, I don't know, some other spell damage thing, and then you play this and you guarantee to get your spell damage cards, and then you can just go face with a couple Sinister Strikes, There's a thought. There's a thought. It's not as good as Recruit, but hey, thinning out your deck, getting minions in your hand, getting 2 card draws, even though they're both minions for a 3/2 is really, really good. 4 mana 3/4, Ebon Dragon Smith. Battle Cry, reduce the cost of a random weapon in your hand by 2. Well, it's a dragon, but why would I want to play this in Dragon Priest? I don't think I would. So then, am I slotting this into some other more weapon-oriented deck? If it's a 4 mana 3/4, I'm not. So I think this card's pretty poop overall. Dustbreaker, 4 mana 3/3. If you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage to all other minions. Awesome card. Top contender, top 10 card. Very, very strong. Clears boards. Allows you to play a control-y style Dragon Priest. Thumbs up all the way. Cursed Disciple, 4 mana 5/1 Death Rattle, summon a 5/1 Revenant. So, for 4 mana, I can play a Magma Rager that gets me a Magma Rager. Yeah, I don't want Magma Rager in the first place. It's like I'm getting a 6 mana card. No, you're not. You're getting 2 pingable targets, and that's garbage. Astral Tiger, 4 mana 3/5 Death Rattle, shuffle a copy of this minion into your deck. So, the always recruit 4-drop deck, this is the main card in that deck. Now, while I think this card is awesome, and I think this card is a really great addition to Druid, I also think it's just not going to see play in that deck because I think that deck is going to be bad. That being said, I think it will have applications in other decks, and it will be good in those other decks, but not in the recruit deck. Oaken Summons, gain 6 armor, recruit a minion that costs 4 or less. Like I said, I don't think the recruit deck is going to be good, but this is going to be a very good card in that recruit deck. Lesser Amethyst Spellstone, Lifesteal, 4 mana, Warlock card, deal 3 damage to a minion. Take damage from your card's upgrade. This is the easiest card to upgrade. 7 damage, Lifesteal for 4 mana is fantastico. I think it's going to be a great card, and I think it's see a lot of play in a lot of Warlocks. Viking Strike, 4 mana, warrior, hunter weapon. Deal 3 damage to a minion, summon a 3/3 wolf. Fantastic, fantastic. It's removal and tempo at the same time for 4 mana. Ridiculously good. Cataclysm, destroy all minions, discard your hand, 4 mana, Warlock spell. Well, I guess they really want to make discard Warlock a thing, so it's a thing now. Thanks, Cataclysm. Is this a good card? Yeah. It's Twisting Nether and discard your hand. And you kind of want to discard your hand a lot of the time. What if your hand has 2 Silver Roll Golems in it? Great. I destroy the whole board and get 2 through 3s. It's fantastic. You want to discard Warlock be a thing? It's a thing. Call to Arms. 4 mana. Paladin spell. Recruit 3 minions that cost 2 or less. Now, I'm not saying this is the best card in the set, but I am saying this is the best card out of the Paladin set. What amazing tempo you can get with this card, with a couple of Dirty Rats, or, I don't know, some Doomsayers to clear your board. Like, it fits in control, it fits in aggro. So many good 2-drops you can play this card. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Love it. Branching Paths. Choose twice. Draw a card, give your minions +1 attack, gain 6 armor. Really, really flexible card. Really, really neat card. Don't think it's powerful enough at what it does to where you'd actually want to put it in your deck. Twig of the World Tree. 4 mana 1/5 Druid. Weapon legendary. Death Rattle. Gain 10 mana crystals. I think this is the best card in the set, to be honest with you. Just being able to pull off 20 mana combos with this card is just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. And if you can somehow destroy this intentionally and just get 10 mana crystals and ramp yourself on turn 5, like, wow. That'd be crazy. That would just absolutely crazy. Windshear Stormcaller, Battlecry. If you control all 4 basic totems, summon Alakir. So that's the card I was talking about earlier. It's really good with those things that create totems, so I don't know. I still think it's going to be way too difficult to get enough totems to make this worth it. And then you get Alakir, which is great because it's a charger, but I don't know if he's impactful enough to where you'd want to actually jump through all these hoops to get him. Trog Gloom Eater, 5 mana, 1/5 Taunt Poisonous. So for 3 more mana, I get 3 more health on a Stubborn Gastropod. Is that good? Probably not. Possess Lackey, 5 mana 2/2, Death Rattle, recruit a demon. Well, it's probably going to suck in Arena. Well, it'll be good in Arena if you have enough demons. But you can play big demons, and then this will recruit a big demon. But even if this just recruits a Doomguard, that's still good, because then it has charging attack. So I think this card is quite good. It's an egg. It'll go great and destroy your stuff. Warlock, thumbs up. Ixlid the Fungal Lord. After you play a minion, summon a copy of it. This card is busted, 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 if you can play it with a bunch of cheap shit. So the problem is, it's not going to live past a turn. So you have to have enough mana to actually play this card and then play some minions and actually get them copied. So if you can do that, this card is good. If you can't do that, this card is garbage. Guild Recruiter, 5 out of 2/4, Battlecry, recruit a minion that costs 4 or less. We've already seen this mechanic in other things. 5 mana for a 2/4 that does that, though, I don't think is worth it, even in that summon 4-cost minions deck. Green Jelly, I don't think you're ready for green jelly. I don't think you're ready for green jelly. At the end of your turn, summon a 1/2 ooze with taunt. So, it's a 3/3 Hogger. I actually really like this card. I think it's cool. It's going to summon a bunch of stuff and be very good in budget decks and might find its way into other decks. And it adds tokens, and tokens can like to be eaten and or destroyed. So maybe this will fit in one of those decks. Furlbog Mossbinder Battlecry, transform a friendly minion into a 1/6 elemental. Well, if your green jelly puts out a 1/2 and then it lives, you can play this Mossbinder on it and get a 6/6. I think this card is actually much better than people give it credit for, but yeah, it is a 5 mana 1/1. So, Fungal Mancer, 2 mana 5 mana 2/2. Give adjacent minions +2/+2. So in theory, you're getting a 5 mana 6/6, but you have to give those things to adjacent minions, which kind of sucks. But those minions have charge, so it actually might be quite good. Don't know. Not sure if it'll see play, but some sort of buff enchantment style deck might actually make use of this. Corrosive Sludge, 5 out of 5/5, Battlecry, destroy your opponent's weapon. More weapon destruction, always strong, always good, and it's the 5 mana 5/5. Carnivorous Cube, 5 mana 4/6, Battlecry, destroy a favorite minion, Death Rattle, summon 2 copies of it. We've already said this card is awesome, 10 out of 10. Gonna see a lot of play in destruction style decks. Arcane Tyrant, 5 mana 4/4, cost 0 if you cast a spell that costs 5 or more this turn. So, is this the card that's going to make Big Spell Mage a thing? Well, if any card's gonna, it would be this one. Ultimately, though, I think that deck will be not good, and I think this card will not see play. Level up, 5 mana Paladin spell, give your Silverhand recruits +2/+2, and Taunt. So, you're losing out on the 2/5 body that Quartermaster would give you, but you're gaining Taunt? That sucks. Sucks relative to Quartermaster. However, is this going to be a good card in and of itself? I mean, it very well could be. If Dude Paladin is a thing, this will be a thing. If it's not, it's never going to see play. And I kind of have a feeling it's not going to see play, but I'm willing to try it out. Lesser Onyx Spellstone, 5 mana, destroy 1 random minion, play 3 Death Rattle cards to upgrade. It's surprisingly hard to play enough Death Rattle cards to actually get this to upgrade, and at that point, wouldn't you have already established a big enough board to where destroying 3 random minions may not be worth it anyway? Maybe they don't have minions anymore because you've been training so effectively by building such a big board. So, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of counterintuitive. Oh man, I'm fading fast here, guys. Let's get through this. Lesser Emerald Spellstone, 5 mana, summon 2 3/3 wolves, play Secret to upgrade. Easiest Spellstone to upgrade, I believe. And this will go really well in the No Spell Hunter deck. But I think it'll fit into other just secret-oriented, mid-rangey decks. So I think this card is pretty darn good, pretty darn strong. Yeah, it's vulnerable to AoE, but if they're using an AoE on this, they're not using it on your Savannah Highmane. Dragon's Fury, 5 mana, mage spell, reveal a spell from your deck, deal damage equal to its cost to all minions. Here you go, free Flame Strike for both sides of the board. Thumbs up in the big spell mage deck. Deck of Wonders, 5 mana, shuffle 5 scrolls into your deck. When drawn, cast a random spell. Meme. Really neat when you have 10 of these fuckers in your deck, And now you're just, like, half the time you're going to draw a fucking scroll? Like, that's pretty insane. Skull of Minari, 5 mana, 0/3 at the start of your turn. Summon a demon from your hand. I've already said it. What if you run out of demons in your hand and this card is garbage? What if the ones that you summon you actually wanted to play to get their battle cries? Too many drawbacks. This card is so slow. Turn 5. You're literally doing nothing else. Thumbs down. Skeletal Spiteful Summoner. Battlecry, reveal a spell from your deck. Summon a random minion with the same cost. Good and big spell mage. I don't know. I don't think this card is very good. Seeping Oozling. 6 mana, 5/4. Battlecry, gain the death rattle of a random minion in your deck. If you're playing a very death rattle heavy deck, this card sucks. If you're playing a deck that has very few but very strong, powerful death rattles, this card is okay. So best case scenario, it's okay. Worst case scenario, it kind of sucks. So that means this card kind of sucks. Rid the First Disciple. Taunt death rattle out of the first seal. And then you play all the seals and you destroy your opponent's deck. Problem is, though, is even if you played literally every seal and literally every Rin, your opponent would have already drawn half their deck, and then by destroying half their deck, you may not have guaranteed yourself a win. Hopefully, by destroying their deck, they can't deal with your 11-11, or 10-10, or whatever the fuck the last dude is, but I don't know, just too slow, way too slow, way too slow. Probably not sync. Hungry Etten, Taunt 4/10, neutral, Battlecry, summon a random 2-cost minion for your opponent. I think this is worse than Hungry Dragon because the mana ratio is less. Meaning it's a bigger significance to have a 6-drop versus a 2-drop than it is to have a 4-drop versus a 1-drop. You're far more likely to summon something that doesn't really have impact. Whereas the 2-mana slot has a lot of cards that aren't impactful. Grumble World Shakers, Battlecry, return your other minions to your hand, they cost 1. I think this card is overrated. I think it's okay. I don't think it slots into a lot of decks. You know, you're losing so much tempo by playing it that I don't think it's good. Gem-Studded Golem. Taunt 5/9 with Taunt. Can only attack if you have 5 or more armor. Well, I don't give a shit about attacking with a card like this. I just want him to protect my ass and use his taunt factor. So, that's good. I may not have 5 armor, but I think I would still play this card, especially in a Quest Warrior. Crystal Lion, 6 mana, 5/5, Divine Shield. Costs 1 less for each Silver Hand Recruit you control. How much would a 5/5 Divine Shield cost normally? 5 mana? Maybe 6? Probably 6, because Divine Shield would probably cost an additional 1 mana. So this is already fairly costed. If you have 1 or 2 hero powers hanging around out there, this is even cheaper and even better. So I think this is a really good card, and I think we'll see a lot of play. Unidentified Shield, gain 5 armor, gain a bonus effect in your hand. I've talked at length about this in my other video. I think it's poop, and it's going to be poop, and stay poop. Poop, 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 poop. To my side! Summon an Alchemy Companion, or 2 if your deck has no minions. Why does this cost 6 mana, Blizzard? Why? Call of the Wild should cost 8, To My Side should cost 5, Animal Companion costs 3. It's not, it doesn't scale the same. But if you play the no minion hunter deck, this will be good in it. Recruit a minion. Gather your party. Big Warrior. Is Big Warrior a thing? Will Big Warrior work? Remains to be seen. I don't think it will, so I don't think this card's any good. Valenier. 6 mana warrior. Paladin Legendary. 4/2. Death Rattle. Give a minion in your hand 4/2. When it dies, re-equip this. So thematically, it's really neat. You lose Valenier, it breaks. Your opponent, your minion picks up Valenier. He goes into battle, dies. You pick up Valenier, then your minion picks a Valenier, and you pick up Valenier, and your minion picks Valenier. Thumbs up, really good card, really good value. I think you only need to see it come back into your hand once before you get like substantial value out of it. Alaneth, 6 mana, 1/3 mage, legendary weapon. At the end of your turn, draw 3 cards. Drawing 3 cards is crazy good. Yes, you're passing your entire turn 6 to do it, but you can just draw into your burn on turn 7, 8, 9, and 10, and Temperous, 7 mana, 6/6 battle cry. Your opponent takes 2 turns, you take 2 turns. I've already said, worst card in the set. Nobody is going to win if you give your opponent 2 turns on turn 7 or later. Silver Vanguard, 7 mana, 3/3, Death Rattle, recruits an 8-caught minion. Neat, neat, neat. It's another egg. You put Taunt on this bad boy. You put, I don't know. I guess Taunt. Taunt is fine. Like, you taunt this dude, they have to trade into it, you get your Tyrion. I think it's actually a really good card, but really, really vulnerable to silence. Lettuce the Sun Sorrow, 7 mana, 1/1, battle cry, cast each spell you cast on your minions this game. Well, talking about things that are really vulnerable to silence, there's this card. But if they're holding their silence, they're not using it on your Tyrion. And if they use it on this, then they don't have it for your Tyrion. So I believe its power is secretly tied into the fact that there's only so many silences, and this will affect the way that they play using their silences. Corridor Creeper, 7 mana, 5/5, costs 1 less whenever a minion dies while this is in your hand. So eventually this will be a 0-cost 5/5. Woohoo! Everybody gets a thing from below. I actually really like this card. I think it will see a lot of play. Psychic Scream, 7 mana. Shuffle all minions to your opponent's deck. Excellent, excellent, excellent removal. Shuffling stuff into your opponent's deck seems bad at first, but because they're getting minions they already played, they have to then spend the mana cost again to play them, and you may give them minions on your side that are reasonably crappy. And then they'll have to draw your crappy minions. So, good. Lesser Sapphire Spellstone, summon a 1 copy of a friendly minion, overload 3 mana into crystals to upgrade. So like I said, it keeps track, so you don't need to do all the upgrading in one turn. So yeah, looks good to me. Thumbs up, I think it'll be really good. It'll see a lot of play in the Evo Shaman. Lesser Mithril Spellstone. Summon 1 5/5 Mithril Golem, equip a weapon to upgrade. It's really hard to equip 2 weapons in a game whilst you're holding this in your hand to then get enough dudes out there to make a okay tempo swing. Not good enough. Lesser Diamond Spellstone. 7 mana, resurrect 2 different friendly minions that died this game. Cast 4 spells to upgrade. So, this card is especially hard to upgrade. However, 7 mana, resurrect 2 minions is probably good enough. So I think this will see a lot of play anyway. Crushing Walls. Destroy your opponent's left and right most minions. Control Hunter a thing? Probably not, but if it isn't, it's not for lack of trying. Rock Dalar. 7 mana, 4/2, battle cry. If your deck has no minions, fill your hand with Hunter spells. Hunter spells are kind of garbage. But if you're playing a deck with no minions, this card is kind of neat in it and will be really good. I think this will prop up that archetype as a tier 4 deck. Whoa, what the hell? I didn't do that. Sorry, guys. Violent Worm, 8 mana, 7/7, Death Rattle, summon 7 1/1 grubs. So if you have an empty board, this will fill your board after it dies. And it's still an 8 mana, 7/7 that they have to deal with. Pretty cool. Death Rattle. I don't know if it'll see play, but I like the card a lot. Marin the Fox, 8 mana, 6/6, summon a treasure chest. So here's my problem. The 08 treasure chest, you need to sink 8 damage into, and wouldn't you rather send that 8 damage to face instead of trading it into this minion? Because Marin the Fox is from the Valley. And so my question is, like I said, why would I want to send 8 damage into a chest when I could send 8 damage to his face and fucking kill him? I don't know, Becky. I think it's because Marin is one of those rap stars' girlfriends. Ultimately a bad card, I think. Togwaggle, King Togwaggle, 8 mana, 5/5, battlecry, swap deck to your opponent, give them a ransom spell to swap it back. So, you spend 8 mana to swap your deck, they spend 5 mana to get their deck back, but guess what? That means you got a 3 mana, 5/5 King Togwaggle, and they spent 5 mana getting their deck back. Can they even deal with a 5/5 at that point? Who knows? Probably not. I think this is one of those very awesome disruptive cards. And is it going to be competitively good? I don't know, but it'll be meme-tastic. Katharina Whisper Wisp, Winter Wisp, Battlecry, and Death Rattle recruit a beast. So, big beasts, big hunter. I say play all the dinosaurs with this card and get a bunch of 7/7 chargers and punch them in the face. Good card. Grizzled Guardian, 8 mana, 3/5 taunt, death rattle, recruit 2 minions, cost 4 or less. So 3/5 with taunt, that's Ascension Shield Master. Getting 2 4-cost minions, that's 12 mana total. You only paid 8 mana to get 12 mana worth of stuff. Hooray! Yay, I'm ahead on crystals, but I think this is ultimately too slow and ultimately not that good. Grand Archivist, at the end of your turn, cast a spell from your deck, target turns randomly. Only if all I had was AoE when I want to play this card, and even then, probably not. Yeah, Scalper, yes. Yep. At the end of your turn, summon a random minion with cost equal to your armor. Tap 10, so you actually don't want to play this with Blade Flurry, or whatever the hell the Flurry card was. Because then you have to lose all your armor, and then this card is no good. So I think it'll be good in the armor up deck, but I don't think it'll be good with a Bladed Flurry. Whoa, Cleaver. Whoa, Cleaver, what are you doing? You were a little hard on the Cleaver last night. 8 mana, 3/3. After your hero attacks, recruit a minion. That's awesome. I got 3 swings to recruit 3 minions. Yeah, 3/3 weapon is kind of shitty on turn 8. But if I'm recruiting a bunch of big fucking minions in the process while swinging face, I think that's pretty good. Oh, my hair is so gorgeous. Rune Spear. Shaman Legendary. Garbage. Void Lord. 9 mana, 3/9. Taunt, Death Rattle. Summon 3 1/3 demons with Taunt. So there's already a bunch of cards that allow you to bring demons out of your hand for cheap and or free, or out of your deck for cheap and or free, and Void Lord is going to be really great in that deck. Sleepy Dragon, 9 mana, 4/12 taunt. They're trying to make the 9-drops slightly weaker. It doesn't die to Shadow Word anything, which is nice. It's got a shit ton of health. It's got taunt, so it's hard to trade into. It's a dragon, so it has dragon synergy. And ultimately, it's not going to see play because it's just not good enough. Master Oakheart, 9 mana, 5/5, Battle Cry, recruit a 1, 2, and 3 attack minion. So, what's the best 1 attack minion in the game? Tar Creeper. What's the best 2 attack minion in the game? Dirty Rat? What's the best 3 attack minion in the game? I don't know, but there's a bunch of them, so figure it out. Is this card really good? Yeah, it's an instant board fill. Yeah, it's for 9 mana. But if you can bring out a Tar Creeper and a couple of things to swing in with this thing, you can really stall out your opponent's board. So I don't know if it'll see play. I don't know if it's quite strong enough to make the top 30 of any deck. But really neat card. Really great build-around card. Dragon Hatcher, 9 mana, 2/4. At the end of your turn, recruit a dragon. So people have been shitting on this card, and I shit on this card when I first saw it, but I did not think of Bards. And I did not think of Shadow Essence, the card. The 6 mana card that summons a 5/5 copy of a card. So, guess what? If you're trying to get Malagos, a very specific dragon, this will give you other opportunities to cheat out big dragons. So I actually think this card is much better than it looks because of the fact that this will allow you to cheat out. If you can cheat this card out, then this card allows you to cheat out your big dragons much earlier than you normally would. Dragon Caller Alana. 9 mana, 3/3, Battle Cry. Summon a 5/5 dragon for each spell you cast this game that costs 5 or more. You're playing Big Mage. This card's great in Big Mage, but if Big Mage sucks, this card sucks. And that is the card review. 1 hour, 8 minutes, in your fucking face. All done. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Keep learning, keep rocking. And the Rockstar, we'll see you later.